Hey Sagittarius, welcome to April 2019. My name's Colleen and this is my channel Arcana Rising. Please like, share, and subscribe. So this is a general reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I am shuffling and laying out your cards. And once I get them all out, I'm going to angle the camera down so you can see the spread. At the end of the reading, I'm going to pull 3 oracle cards to do a pick a card session, and we'll get into the interpretations of that as well. And while I'm shuffling here, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sky, just, lightly for April. Okay. So Mercury went direct on March 28th, which is fabulous, and it's kind of like clearing the fog away from March. The heaviness of March is clearing away, and we're kind of starting to see things in a better light. At least, like, mentally speaking, we're starting to feel more clear-headed. But the retrogrades don't stop there, because we've got 3 outer planets going retrograde this month, and they will be retrograde until about the fall of this year. So we have Jupiter going retrograde on April 10th, Pluto going retrograde on April 24th, and Sagittarius, Saturn going retrograde on April 30th, which is, the end of the month, but it's still in April. So these energies combined feel like it's saying, it's like we're getting into this energy where we are containing the expansiveness that we've been feeling for a while. Really, we've been in this expansive place where we could really see the possibilities that were available to us, and maybe we've been setting out lots of different goals for ourselves in the process, and really reaching for amazing things. Just in dream world, basically, just in the idea mental realm for the most part. Maybe there are some areas that you were working on over the last 6 months, and still reaching for more and more and more things. But now it's starting to feel like this is a time to contain that. It just feels like everything was really there was no limits to things, and now it feels like we're just containing that expansiveness and putting more focus on what we selected. Maybe just picking 1 or 2 out of the plethora of dreams and aspirations that we may possibly have for ourselves, and like honing in on it, and coming back down to earth, getting more real. I'm sorry, I stopped shuffling. Coming back down to earth, getting more real or realistic about our goals, and coming to a place where we can really get down to business, where we can really lay out our plans for how we're going to achieve these goals. And most of this, we're probably not going to really feel like we're ready to get down to business until May. But there's a shift here. There's a shift that's occurring this month, and we're in the process of getting used to it. Basically, because of this Pluto energy is asking us to be open to the changes. My music stopped. Hey Google, play meditation music. That was weird. Sorry about that. Okay, I need 4 more cards, please. Some sometimes I just have to tell the cards that I want them to come out, and then they'll start showing themselves to me. But yeah, there's a shift that's occurring this month that we're gonna have to kind of get used to, and it's more about kind of releasing what maybe the process in which we've been going after what we want hasn't really been as efficient as we would like it to be, and now it's a time for shifting direction. Maybe it's a time of leaving something completely behind so we can start a new phase, which is what I feel like is really coming in here. I feel like it's a very like we're in the process of, like, with the clarity that's been coming in, like we're in this process of like still making sense of everything that we experienced in March and the heaviness in the subconscious realms. It's like getting our head back on our shoulders this month, and then realizing that something needs to shift, something needs to change, and then, you know, figuring out what we have to do personally in order to enact that change. And I feel like it's just, I mean, Rick Levine, I don't know if you watch him or not, but I totally recommend checking him out. He's a fabulous astrologer. He talked about this Jupiter-Saturn retrograde as like taking the rose-colored glasses off. So like coming out of like dream world and then seeing the reality of things, basically. But I'd like to take that a step further and say, like, you know, when you take your sunglasses off and your eyes are adjusting to the light, I feel like that's what this month is all about. It's adjusting to the new way of viewing things. Adjusting your eyes to the light. So that you can, and in doing that, it's like the sun's in your eyes. So it's like you can see things, but it's still kind of blinding you a little bit. So maybe there's truths that are coming out that may be too much for you to see just yet or to understand, or, you know, seeing, you know, setting your goals may be a little bit like, and probably until May it'll feel more like, all right, let's do this, you know what I mean? Like right now it's kind of like we're readjusting, we're shedding things, we're preparing ourselves for the getting down to business, basically. I hope that makes sense. I don't know what's going on with my music, but I guess we don't need it today. So I'm going to angle the camera down to the cards so that you can see what's going on while I'm going through it. That's just my water over there. Okay, so let's see what we've got going on. The Three of Wands. So we're at the precipice of something ambitious, really. I feel like you started on the journey, and you're at this place where you can stop and look up. You know what I mean? Like you're picking your head up and you're seeing out into the distance of you know, your path ahead. Like, where are you going from here? I feel like because he's holding on to the one wand, I feel like there's a little level of hesitation here in moving forward. But 3 is a very creative number, and I feel like this is encouraging you to continue forward with your creative endeavors. If you are hesitant with moving forward, I feel like this is, you know, assisting you in moving forward. So there's a hesitancy here, but there's still the ambition and the goals are still there. It's just maybe, or, you know, maybe the path that we've set out on isn't the best path. So maybe now we're, you know, the guy's looking at his map and trying to figure out what's the best way to get to where we want to go. We have the Ten of Swords in the challenge position, and this is interesting. Self-sabotage is like what is coming up here. It's like your challenge is to not get in your own way through your mind, not letting your mind stop you from moving forward, because I feel like you're on a good path. Maybe you just need to make some minor adjustments, but it's not a time for turning around and going back to start, even though maybe your fears are getting the best of you, or maybe you're just holding on to everything that's gone wrong in the past for you and letting that define your situation right now. Like maybe because there's a small pause in things, you're seeing it as defeat. You know what I mean? And this is like way over this is just way extreme. Like whoever stabbed you in the back could have just done it one time. They didn't need to just keep going. You know what I mean? To like make sure you're dead or whatever. Like it's gonna kill you on the first try. Like whatever. So I feel like this is what you're doing to yourself. It's like beating yourself up about some situation, or just sabotaging yourself in one way or another through the mind. Finding more and more things to betray your own ambitions. I don't feel like this is at the hand of somebody else. I feel like this is at your own doing. But we'll see what it says as I continue through here. The Sun in reverse. So the Sun card is the Leo card, and the Leo loves to be in the spotlight, loves to be seen, wants to be recognized, wants that attention, and then we have this baby, this naked baby on a horse, which is cute, but also there's like it's like your inner child and also a sense of vulnerability as well. So in the sunlight, being seen for who you are through and through, down to the core, and being completely comfortable with who you are. Joy, happiness, all of that wonderful stuff comes in with this card when you are fully comfortable in your own skin. You know what I mean? In reverse, I feel like it's a little uncomfortable. I feel like there's issues with vulnerability here. It's difficult for you to find the joy in certain things, in certain aspects of your life. Maybe you're having trouble with the idea of being seen fully. Let me just get a card for clarification on what this is possibly saying here. But it's like the beginning of this month, you're going into it from a place that is not in alignment with who you want to be, or how you want to be seen, or in a place that is in connection with your joy. Like maybe it just feels difficult to stay in a positive place. Maybe it's not like the end of the world, opposite of joy, but maybe it's just difficult to stay in your joy in the beginning of the month. Thank you. Okay, so we have Knight of Cups. So I'm feeling like jealousy could be, like negative emotions could be affecting your personal happiness and your ability to be comfortable in your own skin and be seen for who you are. Emotions like jealousy or envy, or creating drama in one way or another, and especially in regards to love, is coming up in the beginning of the month. And like the Knight of Cups is kind of a card of extremes. Like he can be seen as Romeo, like the Romeo card of the deck, where he does extreme love gestures for the person that he cares about. In reverse, it could be extreme extreme representations of how you are feeling. If you're feeling a sense of betrayal or feeling victimized in one way or another, you may get into a more dramatized, or I don't know how you say it, dramatized, sure, state of being that takes you out of your joy. So just like kind of causing drama where it's not necessary, and it's because you're having a hard time staying in a positive place right now. So just be careful with the possibility of taking it out on others, especially in the beginning of the month. And we have the Page of Swords here, and I'm definitely getting a clarity card here. So Page of Swords, he's like the teenager of the deck, basically. So like he's had experiences. He's gone through the Ace of Swords through to the Ten of Swords, and he's learned things along the way. So he's had some experiences, definitely, but there's still a lot more to be learned. So there could be a little bit of arrogance in thinking that you know everything about a certain situation. But it's letting you know that there is still more to be learned, because how else are you going to get to become a knight or become the king or the queen? You have to, it's like still keeping that curiosity for knowledge alive. And I'm finding it very interesting that he's holding this sword and he's looking at this Ten of Swords guy who's laying there in defeat. And this is the card that comes after the Ten of Swords, and it almost kind of looks like he's pulled one of those swords out. Okay, so he's pulled one of those swords out. So he's like taking his power back through knowing that that there's still much more to learn. You know what I mean? He's taking his power back from from himself, basically. We have the Ten of Cups here, which is, happy, joy kind of a card. It's the completion card for the cups. So this is, I feel like this is where you're getting your power back, or you're feeling like you're getting your power back through the mind in the second week of the month, and that brings the joy back into your life. Like maybe you were struggling at the beginning of the month with how you were feeling. Maybe that's where this energy was coming in, but it feels like you have decided to take those swords out of your own back and get into this place of happiness again, feeling complete emotionally, and not, self-defeating, prophecies or anything like that coming in anymore. That's wonderful. So it happens pretty quickly. There's, the hesitancy of moving forward and dealing with some kind of, emotional issues in the first week or the very beginning of the month, and then coming around to the second week / middle of the month, it's like you're taking your power back through education, through the mind, through not maybe understanding that there's more to learn about this subject, and taking power back into your own hands by not by learning more, and coming back into your joy. So this is a card of completion. here with the Ten of Cups, and then we have the World here, which is the last card in the major arcana. It's the last card in that journey, and this feels very important. The third week towards the end of the month, this is closure. This is wrapping things up. This is stepping through a portal into a completely new adventure. This is leveling up. You know, like you've learned everything that you've been able to learn. You've learned some lesson about self-sabotaging. Like, stop, you know, you're understanding that you have to stop sabotaging yourself. You have to stop seeing situations as, you know, you have no power in it. You know what I mean? And it feels like the lesson is learned in the middle of the month. And that opens a doorway to you, a major doorway for you that leaves all of that behind. And then you're stepping into a whole new phase, which I feel like stepping into a whole new phase is like the theme for everyone in April and May. But this is like very, very significant for you because we have the World card coming up in your reading. Like, it's going to feel much more significant for you. Closure, you know, coming through, it's like a milestone is occurring here, and that's beautiful. And maybe you had to stop your journey for a little bit because you had to deal with these mental anguishes that you have been torturing yourself for quite some time. You know, dealing with that vicious mental cycle that has been going on for a long time, or at least, you know, over the last however many months or years or whatever. But I feel like this is a major pattern that's being released, and it feels a little frazzly in the beginning of the month, and then you're getting your power back, and then you're stepping through. Beautiful. And what you're stepping through towards is a place of emotional maturity. So that's interesting because maybe this is like your last tantrum. This is the last tantrum before the lesson sets in, maybe. But we have the King of Cups here, and we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this feels like you're stepping into a place of emotional maturity, of a place where you can set healthy boundaries for yourself that supports yourself emotionally and, you know, just in all relationships. And it's not disconnecting with your emotions. It's not being cold and cutting people off. It's just making your boundaries known, making them very clear so that you can build relationships that are healthy, that are respectful, that are, you know, just wholesome, that don't pull you into this cycle again. And you're releasing this feeling of unworthiness, of devaluing yourself, of putting yourself below other people and their successes and feeling like you can never amount to what they have gained in their lives. Coming, you know, a place of feeling like you will never have enough, a place of feeling like you are not enough. You know, putting all of that behind, that's what you're releasing here. And that is beautiful. And it's also, you know, it's important to really let that go because of these changes that are coming. It's important to stay in your power and understand your worth, and you're worthy of moving forward. So this feels like it's just a minor speed bump for you, but a major lesson is being learned. And then from there, you are setting a new precedent for yourself. You're setting I'm hearing ground rules. You're setting ground rules for yourself in your entire life. You know, in the kingdom that you rule, like, you're telling your kingdom, this is how it's going to be from now on. I'm not going to be taken advantage of. I'm not going to, take your bullshit anymore. I'm not going to let you make me feel unworthy. I'm not going to be a victim of any situation, period. And that's that. So that feels very direct and very powerful. And I hope that really sets in for you. And it may take a while for this to, Saturn is really being like, you need to get real about what you want. And, what is okay for you to handle. You know what I mean? Like, what you are willing to take on and what you are not willing to take on. And, seeing yourself for who you really are, which is a strong, powerful person that is capable of healthy relationships, healthy emotions, self-perception, and, all those things. So this could be a conversation with yourself, like, yo, these are the rules that I'm setting for myself from now on. I'm not letting myself treat myself like this anymore, So, or this could be with specific people. But I feel like this is more about you and your personal battles with sabotaging yourself, with mental attacks, and releasing this feeling of unworthiness, stepping into your power and really stepping through a portal that brings you to a place of healthy love and respect. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Okay. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from one of my favorite oracle decks. And we'll do a little pick your card, and I'll interpret them, and then there we go. I'm just gonna I'll shuffle one more time. Okay, so take a nice deep breath. Choose a card, and here we go. Be gentle with yourself. Yes, this is all about the self-love this month. Not beating yourself up for things that may not have gone exactly as planned. Taking care of yourself like you would with any other friend who may be going through the same thing that you are going through. Like, how would you talk to them, or how would you talk to your inner child? Definitely is coming up. And just, like, give yourself a break. No one's perfect, but know that you have a level of compassion for yourself. You're learning and you're growing, and you are gaining your strength back, you're gaining your power back, and you're coming through to something fabulous. So just keep that in mind this month. Gratitude and appreciation is the key this month, absolutely. Reminding yourself of what you're thankful for, of all the things that bring you joy, is going to help you to, leave this way of thinking behind, because I feel like when you're in this state, it's difficult to see all the great things that are going on in your life. So maybe starting a ritual this month where when you wake up in the morning, you start talking to yourself about all the great things that are in your life currently and all the great things that are coming. You know, giving thanks to the universe, to yourself, to, you know, whatever you know, would give thanks to personally in your life. That is going to raise your vibration and make it easier for you to step into your power. Be in service. Interesting. So it's like, be in service to yourself, honestly. Maybe being in service to others is a good way of boosting your self-esteem this month if you're kind of feeling in a funk. Like, helping another person is a good way to make yourself feel better. But also, I feel like being in service to yourself is also the message here. You know, doing what feels good for you, and like, how can you serve yourself how can you take care of yourself as you're going through this process of learning, you know? And maybe that's a message for your future, you know, as we step into May. Like, how can you be more in service? Like, how can you have a balance of being in service for yourself and for others in a way that is that works for everyone? You know what I mean? Like, a little level of compromise to a certain extent, but not compromising your personal boundaries as you continue forward. So if you are in a service work, like career, you know, making sure that you're doing it from a place that isn't exhausting your personal energy and is not stepping over your personal boundaries is an important message for you this month. Okay, Sagittarius. Sorry, just have to. Okay, Sagittarius. That's your message for this month. It's very powerful, and I'm very excited for you. And I can't wait to see what this month brings and what the future months bring for you. It feels like it's bringing you into a very powerful, very successful place. So please let me know how this resonates with you in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I send you so much love, and I will see you in May. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.